Hi folks, and welcome back to another Travels with Red Rover. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Corrine.
And what are we going to be doing today, Corrine?
Well, we are starting a trip in Colorado. We've driven a day and a half from southern Utah, and today starts our off-road adventures.
Right, and we're starting not too far from Ridgway, Colorado, but we plan on doing a whole bunch of the trails in sort of what I would call southwestern side of Colorado. So we're going to be camping up in the mountains, and we're taking you with us.
So we just left from the town of Ridgway, had a nice lunch in town, and we are going to head up a road that's County Road 9, which is West Dallas Road, and it goes to a spot I think that's called the Shadow Box Park.
So Corrine and I are heading up our first trail. This trail is supposedly quite easy, and it goes through the Ralph Lauren Ranch. I think it's called the Double R Ranch.
Double RL.
Double RL Ranch. And it's a huge piece of property. We're actually driving through the ranch now on a public road. But you're warned about not going off of the road at all. So my understanding is that there's a battle going on between the Double RL Ranch and various forms of government. The Double RL Ranch would like to close this road down to the public. And right now it provides the forest access. So that is not something I think the government is going to do, is going to shut this road down, because otherwise you'd lose all access to the public lands. My understanding is that in many places, the public lands and the BLM are actually relenting and shutting these roads down, and it's going to be, it continues to be a problem as we go forward here. So the road is supposedly really good shape, although we're about a mile or two onto the road now, and it's a bit on the bumpy side. I didn't air down. Green said I wouldn't need to, so
This could be done by any stock vehicle.
yeah, it's supposed to be done by any stock vehicle, and so far there's nothing that would prevent any sort of vehicle with a little bit of clearance and some decent tires for coming up here. So it's pretty straightforward road so far. I apologize for the big bug right in the middle of the video screen. I smacked into that just as I turned this on. So Corrine and I are testing out a bunch of new gear that we've purchased, and hopefully to give us some more variety in our videos. Unfortunately, almost all of it's not working yet. So,
No, it could be operator error.
well, yeah, there's a fair bit of operator error going on. But we're trying to get everything worked out. So it's taking us a bit of time figuring everything out. So this is kind of a test run on this little short trail. It's apparently only about 7 or 8 miles long. So it's not a hugely long trail, and it's really just a road. It's just a gravel road. It's not much of a trail. So the first bit of the road was quite straightforward. Once you into forest access land, it becomes a 2-track and becomes a good deal more bumpy. The road is pretty rutted, and there are a bunch of small stones that you kind of have to work your way over, and a few sections that are fairly off camber as well.
And don't go over the side.
Yeah, as Corrine was just saying there, it would be a good idea not to get too close to the edge. It's a pretty intense drop-off. It's a shelf road. I'm not sure what's going to happen if we meet anybody coming the other way, because there is no room to pass anybody at this point. So we're starting to get really back up into the forest. Just before you get to Box Factory Canyon or Box Factory Park, you come across this water crossing. It's quite shallow and very easy to cross. It made for a nice little change. After we came out of the stream and turned the corner into the canyon, which is, as you can see here, very beautiful, we met some of our buddies for the next couple days. These folks were very, very curious. They tended to follow us around a fair bit and didn't seem terribly worried that we were there, although they did keep a really close eye on us.
The cattle have followed us up to a little camping spot. I guess they were curious where we were headed. The young ones are keeping close to Mama. They're a little nervous about us. And there's one cow that is making quite a racket over there, carrying on like she's calling a whole bunch of them back. Well, here's our camp on the West Dallas Road, set up along Box Factory Park. And we're not far from a creek. It's a little downhill of us. It's flowing pretty fast, so we shouldn't have any problems with bugs, I don't think. We haven't noticed any. We do have to watch out for the cow patties because the cattle use this area for grazing. And we have behind us, across from the camp, a beautiful slope of aspen trees that I think would just be absolutely gorgeous in the fall. It just has that nice sloping angle that would get a nice bit of color on it. And there's some pretty good white tree trunks that would provide a contrast or some interest. And you might also be able to do some compositions that involve our trail here. And if you notice this direction, we got a beautiful view of mountains up here, just behind the pine trees. And I currently set up a little time lapse, hoping that we'll get some sunset action or late evening action. The sun is even more impressive, shining on the further mountain peak that's just around these trees. This is the Sneffels Range. I don't know the specific names of each of the mountain peaks, but this is just a lovely meadow area. Shawn's hoping for some sunset action, so he's out here in a chair with his camera, waiting to see if something good is going to happen.
Something spectacular.
Yes. He says something spectacular will happen. But in the meantime, he's got an iPad so he can entertain himself. Well, the sun has gone down behind the ridgeline that's right behind me there, with all the aspen trees. That's the west. And so we're not going to see much in the way of a sunset due to that hillside over there. We have been doing a few time lapses looking to the south, which is that direction, and you can see just above my head there a couple of the mountain peaks, and they're just being lit up right now. So hopefully we'll get something nice in a time lapse to share with you that's kind of like a sunset mountain view. There's some clouds that are over that way, and we don't know yet if they're going to get lit up, but we'll wait and see. Well, that's our south view there as we're getting closer to sunset. And looking over to our east, There's a nice ridge line of aspen up there. In the foreground we have lots of evergreens, but you can see the last bit of sunshine is lighting up those aspen quite nicely. It would probably be a much better picture for fall with fall colors if we didn't have such a tall stand of evergreens in the front. We're always evaluating places for fall photography and autumn color. This is a beautiful spot, but it just has a lot of evergreen trees in our foreground that aren't ideal for fall colors. It's about 8 minutes to sunset, and Shawn is all set up here with his chair and camera on a tripod, and had to don a sweater because it's cooled off. And he has a view of the mountains back there. Now the nicely lit mountain doesn't have any clouds behind it. And the mountain that's over there, that's not as well lit, you can see has some pretty nice clouds. And we think they're going to get lit up a bit. So that's kind of always the trials and tribulations of sunset photography, is that the clouds don't necessarily show up with your best lighting for mountains and lakes and things like that. So you get what you get. It's just a couple of minutes after sunset and we have clouds. No light on the mountain, no color in the clouds. It's just kind of dissipating. We've been patiently waiting to see if something magical will suddenly happen, but it looks like we're going to get snuffed out for tonight. The cows have decided to move up closer to us. They're forming up along the tree line over there in the west, having a last munch of grass as they head to the south.
That evening we took some photographs, and the next morning I took some drone photographs, and here they are. We sure hope you like them. The next morning we were up pretty early. Crean had made us a lovely breakfast on her propane stove. It was bacon and eggs. It was very enjoyable. And afterwards she started tidying up in order to get us ready to go for a bit of a hike. I are going to go on the Dallas Trail. That's the gate right there. And the trail goes off into those aspen trees. About 2 miles, a little trail we found. It's a little loop trail. And a beautiful view of the mountains. Unfortunately, it's so smoky that everything looks kind of dull and gray. Working our way up this trail. Found some more cattle, and unfortunately they like to poop on the trail. So it makes the trail a little gooey in places. And we're working our way up a very steep hill right now. I know it doesn't look like it on the video, but this is very steep. And we're about, I think, 2/3 of the way up, I'm hoping. Although every time we think we get to the top, we find another hill. So hopefully we're 2/3 up. But way down there is where we started. And remember I said I thought we were 2/3 the way up? Well, we weren't. There was another hill. So we're up about 1/3 of that hill. And a little ways to go. But the views are spectacular. Well, we finally made it to the top. The top actually is in this beautiful aspen grove. So, and we're actually walking up a road now. It goes that way.
Nope.
Nope, Green said we missed the trail. Came up as far as we could, and now we're going to work our way back along the trail down to our campsite, which is about 1.5 miles away. We come down a great deal faster than we went up. In fact, there's a couple places where it's pretty loose and slippy. And Green almost landed on her butt a couple times. Well, we're just about back to the gate and the beautiful mountain that overlooks our campsite. It's been a nice walk, but I can honestly say I'm ready to get back.
Well, we had had a beautiful time, but it was time for us to get going. We had several other plans and adventures to head towards, so we packed the truck up and started to make our way back down the mountain. The trip down the mountain was completely uneventful, although the clouds were starting to build up for some stormy weather. But that's in another story, for another time. When we got down to the bottom of the mountain, it was time to fuel up and start heading for the next adventure. Well, Corrine, what did you think of our trip up the canyon?
We had a lovely trip. The road was excellent, I guess because it's mostly going down a county road, till you get to the forest section, and I guess then the county doesn't maintain it, and it got narrow and a steep drop off and a little more exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty narrow when you're going up the actual forestry road itself. And there are a couple spots where I think in the future you're going to have to be a Jeep or narrower in order to get through there. A full-size vehicle is definitely not going to get through with where a couple of the rocks have slid down the side. Of course, unless those are moved. But other than that, it was a beautiful location. We had some very friendly neighbors with lots to say. And they said that all up until we went to bed, and then they were quiet, which was nice. I'm referring to the cows, by the way.
Yeah. The meadow was a nice area. I bet in the summertime it gets some nice wildflowers. It gave us a nice view of the sky and some mountainscapes. But our cloud cover didn't cooperate for a nice sunset picture.
But there was some nice pre-sunset lighting of the mountains from the meadow, which was quite lovely to photograph. And I'm hopeful those will come out and look pretty nice. Well, we sure hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up.
And if you'd like to see more of our videos, you can hit that subscribe button down below. And when you do that, there's also a bell notification button that you can press so that you're notified when new videos get posted.
And don't hesitate to leave us a comment, a thought, or an idea. I know many of you watch this on television, so you don't really get an opportunity to comment. But those that are watching it on your phones and your iPads and that, please let us know what you think and any ideas or thoughts, or have you even visited this area and want to tell us about it? We'd love to hear from you.
And we have some more spots in Colorado, so we hope you'll watch for future videos.
And until next time, bye for now.
Bye for now.